Marty, we're reshooting our predictions of the upcoming and preview of the upcoming Oregon-Washington game. So I'll start off with you. What do you think has to happen for Oregon to win?
Well, I think it's going to be a close game. All the games, if you looked at the scores, it kind of looked like Oregon dominated a little bit, but when you looked at all the stats, the scoring, the rebounding, the turnovers were all very, very close. And really the difference in the two games was foul shooting. Oregon shot 60 free throws and Washington shot 36. There was a 20-point differential. Well, that's the difference in the games. So I expect a very close game. However, the wild card is Dominic Artis, who did not play against Washington in the first two games. And he's been a little rusty, but if he has a breakout game tonight, I think he'll probably be the difference. Obviously Singler, will be a key factor, but he always is. And I think it'll be a close game. I like Oregon's chances. I think they'll win a close one.
Well, last night when you and I talked about this after the game, I thought for Oregon to be successful tonight, what they're going to have to do is come out and play good, strong defense where they're really in the right place, the right time, denying the things that Washington wants to do. So that means the defender's going to keep himself between his opponent and the hoop at all times, keep their hands up, play with good foot movement where they're just denying the Huskies to be able to get down low. They did that with a lot of success in the first two games. And also, as you point out, the free throw shooting was tremendous. Now, this last two games, free throw shooting and field goal shooting were not particularly good, so they're going to have to do something about improving on that. The other factor that I think is that Washington played a late game. It started at 8:30, which tonight's game is going to start at 8:30. They seemed to have the game well in hand when they had a 19-point lead in the second half, but the Cougars came storming back, and it looked like it was going to be a major upset. Cougars could not finish, and they ended up losing, 64-62.
2 points.
Yeah, 2 points.
Very close.
So, to me, thinking back on all the basketball games I've seen, it takes a lot out of a team to either hold on to a win like that or come back and win when they have to come back on a second night like they're doing tonight. It's going to be remains to be seen if Washington can overcome that big emotional swing that they had where they had the game, nearly were in trouble, nearly lost the game, end up winning the game. That's a lot of emotions as opposed to Oregon's rustiness of not playing for the first few days.
Well, you're right. Oregon's got to find some points. I'm hoping, when I look at, what'll be different tonight is that Oregon's scoring is usually pretty even across the board with the exception of Lloyd. Mm-hmm. He's the one that only scores maybe 4 points a game. So again, with Artis back, there should be, up to a 10-point swing, and it should open things up a little better for Singler. As far as the emotional part of it with Washington, it is a rivalry game. And when you have a rivalry game, I agree that it had to take something out of them last night to give up a 19-point lead and basically be in a position to lose the game. But on the other hand, this is a rivalry game, and rivalry games are different, and they're going to come out storming. They would like nothing better than to knock off a team like Oregon, who is one of their nemesis, especially after they've lost twice already.
Well, this few days of extra rest has to help E.J. Singler in those sore knees that he's suffered with tendonitis. Particularly, his lateral movement over the last few games has really been tough on him, and you saw in both Colorado and the Utah games that players were just getting right by him. But I think that had to do with tendonitis in his knees.
Yeah, and I never verified it, but they said that last weekend possibly like Kazemi was sick during maybe at least one of the two games. So if Oregon's firing on all cylinders, and with the addition of Artis, I expect him to win, but I think it'll be very close. It's going to be a very competitive game tonight. There's a lot at stake. If Washington beats Oregon, it could knock Oregon out of the NCAA tournament. I think they would like that. And I think it's going to be a very competitive game, probably very entertaining for all the fans.
Well, the Huskies have to win the Pac-12 tournament to make it into the NCAA tournament. The Ducks, on the other hand, one win should seal it for them to get in, although yesterday the NCAA held a telephone media conference, and in which they basically said that they're already in the process of voting for the wild cards, or they're voting for who they think might be in. So, aside from winning the tournament, if the Ducks are going to make it in, they probably have made it in. However, every time you win, it sure helps that.
I would make sure I won tonight.
You want to make sure you won tonight.
If I was Oregon, I'd say we better win tonight, and let's not worry about being on the outside looking in. Let's lock it up so we know we're in.
One player that I've mentioned in game chat that I thought could be an offensive spark is Ben Carter, the freshman. He shoots a pretty good jump shot. Yeah,
and Dotson too. Dotson's been scoring, and Lloyd has picked up very valuable playing time while Artis was out for 9 games, and so he's a lot more polished in handling the ball, so he can provide quality minutes during the game to back up Artis and keep him fresh. So Oregon's got a lot going for them. They just have to click on all cylinders and execute and play a good game.
Well, you'd like to see Carlos Embry and Tony Woods as two players in particular, along with Waverly Austin, to sort of find that rhythm and tempo that they play best at. When their rhythm and tempo is right, they're very effective. When it's wrong, it can be a disaster.
Yeah, it can be ugly. Yeah, you're right. And Woods especially, because he's a dominant player when he's on his game, but a lot of times he seems to be in kind of a funk and he makes a lot of mistakes.
Well, you'd like to see all that, and of course the free throw shooting, as you mentioned, the Ducks doubled the output in free throws over the Huskies over the last 2 games that they played, which Oregon won. So this is going to be a very interesting game. We'll be courtside. We would like to have done game chat. I don't think we'll be able to do that because of the internet access problems we had this morning. Unless the Pac-12 has been able to fix that, we may have not be able to run chat tonight.
Well, we'll bring the computers. We'll try. If it doesn't work and you go into chat and we're not there, it's not because of us.
Yeah. Well, we're in this small little room that Marty had. Marty got here yesterday. There was a problem with the rooms, and so they had to put him in this small little room that's getting so cramped. You see how cramped we are here on the sofa.
This is my bed.
You and your dog. You and the dogs.
Yeah, I didn't bring the dog.
Yeah. Well, anyway, for Marty Martindale, this is Steve Summers for educ.com.